In this video, I'm going to start covering some of the common Windows system tools. These tools are everyday tools that you're going to use to get some information from a machine, to perform some administrative tasks, and they're overall very important things that you need to be aware of the system. I'm going to cover them from the user interface, so you'll see them and we'll talk about them as we view them. But it's very important for you to have these tools under a good understanding. And since you are watching this through a computer, or at least potentially for a computer, you should really experiment with these tools on your local machine just to get a grip about what's going on and better understanding of them. So I've connected to a machine and we're going to use this machine to demonstrate the data. First of all, in modern operating system, as you can see, the desktop kind of starts empty and there's no icon for this computer and such. So if you're trying to see the properties of this computer, which will give you the display information of the machine, the overview information, there's several ways to go about it. The easy route is to click on the start or the search and do this or this PC, and then you can right click on this PC icon and click properties. Another route is to open the file explorer, which does have an icon out of the box, and as you see at the left side, this PC, right click it and properties. Clicking the properties here will give you the overview information regarding this machine. It gives you a few links that we can cover as well, but in general, it gives you the overview. What is the resources that this machine has allocated? What is the computer name? Is it a part of a work group or a domain, which is the topic we'll cover later? Is the machine activated? And of course, you can click on the hyperlinks to go into the device manager, the remote settings if you want to enable remote management, and other things that are maybe more advanced for now. One of the common administrative tasks that you'll do from this window is to click on the change setting on the computer, and this is allows you to perform all kinds of changes on the system level, starting with changing the machine name and allowing the machine to join to a domain environment, or enabling remote administration in order for you to connect remotely to this machine using the RDP protocol. Those are the two common tasks that you'll perform from here. There's a few others, but I'm not going to cover them in this video. So overall, this dashboard is very useful. You'll find yourself going through it a lot when you build new machines, when you get a bearing on an existing machine, and it's something that you need to know how to operate. The second place that I want to show you is the task manager, and there's a lot of ways to hit the task manager. The most common one is to press Control Alt Delete, but another route is to right click on the bar at the bottom and click on the task manager here. Regardless of how you want to access this dashboard, there's a lot of good and useful information in the task manager. Give it a second to load. And there's a lot of good things in the task manager per se. First of all, it gives you a clear understanding regarding what are the processes that are currently running on the machine. The process tab is the default one that opens. It gives you the bearing of how much CPU, memory, disk, and network utilization each one of them has. And it gives you a very quick understanding towards what is the high CPU usage application, what are the high memory use application and such. And it gives you control over them as well. So you can select them, right click them and kill them, or check properties or get more information about them. And regardless of what you decide to do as an action, this is a visibility utility for real-time understanding of what's going on. As you can see, there's a few other tabs here, and each one of them is important. The performance tab is a very important feature if you're trying to understand if a machine is running slowly or if something is not running as intended. It gives you a graph, a very simple graph regarding point-in-time utilization for the CPU, the memory, the disk, and the network, and each one of them is a figure of its own, but it gives you an understanding. Obviously, if you see this peak, you see that it was high utilization, now it's low utilization. It allows you to track a lot of things. There is this little icon here at the bottom, Open Resource Monitor, which is a much more advanced view towards the task manager and will give you a lot more information if you're trying to troubleshoot a performance related issue. There's a few others tabs here that are interesting and important. Startup is another one in particular that shows you a list of all the things that are starting up when the machine is loaded. But and the service tab is also a term that I'm going to show you how to access in another way, but it gives you an overview of all the services that are running in the environment, what are running automatically, what is starting manually, and what is stopped. And a service is something in Windows, an application that starts or operates behind the scene and execute a process. So this is something that you need to be aware of, and often you'll have an administrative task to stop services, start services, install or delete services, and the task manager can give you some visibility towards it. But the better way to do it is click on the start button, click services, and basically once you open the services tab, it will open the dedicated panel for services, and this will give you the visibility to the services that are running on this machine. A few things that I want to touch on the services tab. Services are very important. Some of them are things that you need to be aware of and understand what their function. Some services are very plain and easy to understand, like for example, Bluetooth support service, which is required for Bluetooth support on the machine. Some of them are less straightforward in terms of name and understanding their function. You can read about them. You can open the description. If you click one of them and click properties, you'll be able to read the process description, the service description. And there's also the process path, the path to the executable, which is being run by this service. There is one thing that is important to understand: the startup type that gives you the mode of the start. If it's a service that is starting manual, it means that you'll need to run it manually. You'll need to trigger this action either yourself or via a process or an application. If it's triggered automatically, like one of these services, it means that it will load when the machine is booting up. So the machine will boot up and then it will load. Some of them have something called delayed start, automatic. It means that it will start running, but it will wait a few minutes until the machine is fully loaded and only then start to load this process. And this is something that is relevant to processes that require a lot of memory or a lot of CPU usage, and you don't want them all to boot up at the beginning and start with the machine. Um, Basic function that you're going to use in each one of these services: right click on any of them and you might want to stop them, you might want to start them, you might want to restart them. Another common task is to select a service, click on the properties, and change it from a startup type of manual, for example, to automatic, or the opposite. Obviously disabled means you do not want it to run. So all of these functions are things that are very common IT practice. I'll put a few words into context. I would like you to start a service. This is how you would do it from the graphical interface. I would like you to stop a service. This is the place to do it. I would like you to kill a process or check why the machine is running slow. Then you will go to the task manager. As I showed before, you'll click right click here, task manager, and you'll see the processes, what is the utilization, and you might want to kill one of them. I would like you to perform a change in the computer host name or add it to a domain. This is where you'll go to the properties of this PC and click on it. Now, there is one more thing I want to show in this video, and it's a general term. All the consoles and the Windows applications are opened via something called MMC. And MMC, as you can see here, is Microsoft Management Console. And when you open the Microsoft Management Console, if you open it without specifying the application you want to run, you're able to import to this console all the application. So basically, I can click on the file once I open the MMC, add remove snap-in, and this is where I see all the administrative consoles that exist on this machine. For example, computer management. And I can add computer management, and now I'm able to see the function of the system tools, similar to what I would have seen if I opened the device control from the properties of this computer, device management, for example, or other things. And all of this information will be open in this MMC. This is a much more advanced topic, but assuming you're trying to learn, I would open the MMC console, click on Add Snap-in, and I will just check what are the various applications that exist here. And I can add them all and just play around with it, see what I'm able to do, see what information is presented. And another thing that I wanted to show in this demo is the event viewer. The event viewer, you can enter it by opening the event viewer snap-in inside an MMC, but the more common way to do it is click on the start, click event, and you'll see the event viewer. You open the tab, and once you open the tab, it will open the event viewer tab. You'll be able to see all the logs that exist and are written on the machine. If you click on the Windows log, you can see that they're divided by application, security, system, and each one of these little tabs, if you click it, it will present all the logs that are under this category. When you install additional services to the machine, it might create all kinds of sublogs. As you can see, each one of these blocks represent a log that is written to the system. Logs are very important for troubleshooting. If you're troubleshooting deep problems, something that is not very understandable from a bird's eye view or without simple basic administrative tasks, this is something that sometimes you're looking for a needle in a haystack. But this is also a place where you can understand a lot regarding things that are happening behind the scene. And as you can see, they're classified between information, warning, error, and such. And all of these things are things that will help you if you're looking for an issue. Let's assume you have a machine that's being rebooted and you don't know why. A good place to start is checking the performance and checking what are the services and processes that are running. Maybe one of them is causing a failure. And another place to look when you're closer to finding the issue or when you don't have any leads is to look for the Windows event and look for an event that says shutdown or event that says critical, issue, problem, and such. And this is a good place to start looking for the events. I know I've bombarded you with a lot of tools. I just wanted to give you like a cookie cutter, a lot of tools in one video to give you the right direction to look. The next step from your perspective is to open these tools on your machine and start looking around and seeing how they function. And obviously, if you have questions, leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them.